Welcome back, y'all. Thank y'all for coming back, tuning in. I want to read something, brother. My name is Amen Ra Kamau, and I have dedicated over 20 years to the study of Kemetic science, deeply immersing myself in the rich spiritual and philosophical traditions of ancient Kemet. Through my journey, I have ardently followed the principles of Ma, which emphasizes truth, balance, harmony, and justice. These principles have not only guided my personal and spiritual growth, but have also shaped my understanding of the universe and our places within it. That's powerful, brother.
Appreciate it.
So the first thing I would like to ask is, what got you on that road?
I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
I grew up in the African Methodist Episcopal Church. Okay. We spent a lot of time at church and going through the Bible with Sunday school and then Bible study. I just became an avid reader. So one of the first books that I became an avid reader of was the Bible. Okay. So I started reading the Bible, and one thing about African Methodists is that one thing you're going to learn when school is out and it's summertime, you're going to go to Black history classes. You're going to take Black history during the summer. It's mandatory. You're going to take Black history classes. So through my reading of Black history, I started noticing some things in the Bible. And one of the first things that I noticed, probably was about like 11, was when Jesus was fleeing into Abyssinia. Now, Abyssinia is nothing more than modern day Ethiopia. Okay. So the names may have changed, but the people of origin are still present to this day. Okay. So I'm reading, and the question pops in my head: if Jesus is white, and when you're going to hide, you're trying to seek refuge. You're not trying to stand out. Right. So I know the people that he went amongst was Black. That's not making sense to me. Right. So I posed that question in Sunday school, and my Sunday school teacher said, "You're blaspheming." You know, I had never heard of the word blasphemy, so I didn't know what it was. But I could tell by her tone, it wasn't nothing pleasant. Right. She leaves, goes into the congregation, and comes back with my grandmother. So my grandmother is like, "Hey, you blaspheming." I'm asking my grandma, "What is blaspheming?" "Oh, you speaking against God." I was like, "Whoa, I wasn't speaking against God." I said, "I just had a question." Right. and my grandma said, "You just believe." I said, "Just believe?" "You just believe." And so with that sparked my curiosity, you know? Yeah, and it's funny because that's part of the process of the indoctrination. Yes. You know, over the generations. And it's funny because they went and got an elder. Yes. You know, to chastise you pretty much. Right, put me in my place. To put you in their place. Right, yeah, right. Excuse me, please. But go ahead, though. Yeah, so after that, you know, of course, I continued to go to church and everything. But once when I turned 17, my uncle had a bookstore. Okay. So in the bookstore, you know, he sold African books, incense, you know, oils, your traditional, you know, bookstore. Right. And so I had this football game, Luke Mattel football game, right? And I'm working, and my uncle comes into the store one day. I'm sitting there, I'm on the game, I'm just playing. He snatches the game out of my hand and say, "Man, you're here with all these books and you want to play a game?" He said, "Man, pick a book." So I'm kind of looking around, looking whatnot. Taking too long. He gives me the autobiography of Malcolm X. I sat there. Wow. I read that book from front to cover. When he came back, we discussed it and everything. And that moment right there really reignited my thirst for knowledge and for reading, because if we go back to when I said when I was 11, once that incident happened with my grandmother, I wasn't as focused on reading anymore. You see what I'm saying? That was kind of because I didn't want to do anything that was displeasing, to my grandmother.
Right.
You know,
it's funny that you were introduced to Malcolm X at a very young age, at that age where your mind is the most fertile.
Right.
Another guest on another leg of this docuseries said the same thing. Sensei 9, shout out, brother. He said the same thing, that his mentor pulled him to the side and said, here, read this. So I just see that symmetry there, man. You know, Malcolm X is apparently a very big influence.
Oh yes, definitely, bro. It was and you know, I read it that time and I read it several other times, because when you're reading, it's always something that you're missing, that you miss. And it's always something when you read it again, you can pick up on it too. And it also, in regards to the way your spirit is feeling, you know, the way your spirit is feeling, it's a reason why you gravitate to certain things, you know, and you don't even know, why am I picking up this book again? I already read it, you know, but you're reading it and now you're absorbing new information, you know, and I tell people all the time, information and knowledge, that's something that you put into play once you come in contact with it. It's not like, you know, canned goods, you store them and da. No, when you come in contact with knowledge, you need to use it then. You need to implement it, you know, because
it's of the essence.
It's of the essence, you know, because you are actually blessed and favored to even get the information.
To have received it,
to receive the information. So
it's like a duty, right? It's like it comes to you for a reason, right?
For a reason. And you have to decide what you're gonna use it for. You know, and like I said, once working in my uncle's bookstore, I started reading all different type books, you know, Death Comes on a Pale Horse, just all these different books, immersion in all these different books. And at the same time, by me reading the Malcolm X biography, I became interested in Islam. You know, naturally. So I used to be a member of the Nation of Islam. Then I went from Nation of Islam. I went to do Orthodox Islam. Then I went from Orthodox Islam. Then I went to...
was you ever a 5%er? You remember that?
No.
Remember that phrase?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. You know, and I did a lot of moving around to different religions because I was trying to find peace within my soul. Because a lot of time when people come into contact with information, they just want to read and study what their base is, instead of instead of going outside of it and saying, okay, well, this system over here is saying this. Let me see why they are saying that.
Right.
And the root of everything is history. If you are practicing anything, you need to know the history of it.
Let me hold you right
All
there.
right.
We're going to come back. You need to know the history of it.
Right.
It's very important because, I mean, they say what? You don't know where you're going if you don't know where you're from. And,
Right.
And all that stuff. So we're going to touch on that when we get back, knowing your history, after these messages. Thank y'all for tuning in to Digging Too Deep on the Marvel Knot Network. If you like the content, then please like, share, and subscribe. And you can also catch us at www.marvelknotnetwork.com.
Misfit Baker, your one-stop shop for local home and commercial baked goods, serving the Fort Worth, Saginaw, and Lake Worth area. Contact us today for your custom sugar cookies and cakes. Our designs will please the eye and our taste will wow your palate. Misfit Baker, putting the back into baked goods.
Welcome back, y'all. Again, appreciate y'all tuning back in. We were just talking a little bit about indoctrination, meaning a system that you're put in or under that you are committed or expected to follow simply because it's the system and you're expected to follow it. So Ark was alluding to history, which we all get into history, but he said something that we're going to dig into now, which is why knowing your history is important. Because as I was saying, we've heard the cliche sayings, you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you're from. And if you don't learn your history, it repeats itself. But I want to get your perspective on why knowing the history is important.
Well, knowing your history is very important, because if you don't know your history, you don't know your true value. You don't know your true value. So you need to know, where is my place in this big old universe? We're taught that everything is disconnected. No, it's quite the opposite. Everything is connected. Don't a leaf fall from a tree without a purpose? So even with those small, minute details, you should know that you are more than what you see in the mirror. You're more than what you see in the mirror. Like we were discussing earlier in regards to when people are born, they're born into a system. And that system is typically a cultural system, which is a religion system. Religions are cultural systems. And in regards to us, what is our culture system? We don't speak any of our native tongue. Our cultural system was basically uprooted and co-opted. So
you're going to be when you're born, you're going to be a basketball player.
And see, when people say that, you're just taking away from all your glory, because your job was to come here and perfect your soul.
Okay.
The basketball, the fame, the movie actress, this, that's just a talent that you have.
Right.
But that's not the mission.
It's not your purpose.
That's not your purpose. And a lot of people move in that light. They become what people
say they're going to be.
They're going to be. So if you have a kid that's raised, parents are Christian, 9 times out of 10, that child's going to be a Christian.
Yeah. And they put a ball in his hand. He had a ball in his hand since he was 2.
Yeah, but you put it in his hand. Just like you put that Bible in his hand. Just like you put that Quran in his hand. Just like you put that Torah in his hand. So when I go back and think about history, I used to always think like, man, what were my ancestors practicing before they came in contact with these people?
Right.
What was their way of life? Because I know that my ancestors ushered in time. I know on the planet for a fact, they the Johnny come latelys. So how did they get in the position that they're in? They're in. And it was through the ideology. It was through religion. And it was through bloodshed. So
this is what comes to mind. It's very important that nobody thinks about, well, wait, what were we doing before we were introduced to these other people? It's assumed that we weren't doing anything and they came and showed us what to do.
Right.
But yet, even in the name Kemet, that's Egypt, right?
Yes.
That was whitewashed during the Hellenization thing, right?
Right. Yeah.
So even with that, before it was Egypt and y'all started telling us about it, it was Kemet, which means something to the effect of the land of the brown people or the colored people, black people, something like that. So yeah, that's very interesting you say that. So that's what you were talking about. Like, wait a minute, man, what were we doing before this?
Yes, what were we doing before this? What was our practice system? What was our belief system? And our belief system was just a way of life. Our ancestors studied nature. They studied astrology for over thousands of years.
Wow, walking in the principle of
Mayat. So out came from the system of Mayat, which helped build the empires, Because with anything, you have to have building something. You have to have a firm foundation. Can't build nothing on shaky ground.
I need to correct something.
Yes.
I said it's
Mayat. Yes.
I'm learning, y'all. I'm learning.
So with that, it has to be a firm foundation. A firm foundation. You know, a lot of times, speaking, I can only speak for myself. Just reading and just having a greater understanding of my purpose on this planet.
Okay.
A greater understanding of that. You know, the great Dr. John Henry Clark said, I debate my equals and all others I teach. So I don't go back and forth with people trying to go, well, this Bible scripture is this is this. It's up and for your own interpretation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Your job is to perfect your own soul.
Right.
So my job is just to be a light for you.
Right.
You know, that's what happens a lot of times. Things are put in our lives for us to learn lessons from. You know,
right.
You know, this guy is very astute. Let me see how he functions. How's he doing that? And there's nothing wrong with emulating behavior that's going to help you perfect your soul and better your life and better the life of those around you.
Consider the alternative.
Yes.
You're going to emulate some bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. That's too simple, right?
All right. And I so later on in my life, when I really started getting immersed in comedic science, my eyes start to open.
So in just a basic sentence, what is comedic science?
Life. The totality of life. You know, we're so used to being everything separated. You know, separated.
Yes.
Oh, this is the study of psychology. This is the study of sociology.
Right.
This is this is this and this and that. No, it's all connected. You know, it's all interconnected. You know, even when you're going through the Bible and you're reading it, like I said, once again, know the history of what it is that you're doing. You need to know the history of the Bible. You need to know the history of the Bible. You need to know that the 42 negative confessions came before the 10 Commandments. That's where they were taken from. You have to start, when you're dealing with religion, you have to not only know the history, you need to know the linguistics and the geography of what it is that you're discussing.
What was that, the 42?
Negative confessions.
Negative confessions.
And that's all they took was the first 10. The first 10. I'm going to put it in a nutshell for you. We know our ancestors ushered in time, okay? And then you had the different religions spring from that, because once the mystery systems became weakened because they started with foreigners coming and started becoming priests in the mystery school.
Right.
So then it became a wealth thing,
Right.
a money thing.
Right.
You see, more similar to what you see today, you know, with the pastors and everything. So Christianity at that time, that opened up a vacuum for Christianity to usurp the poor. And that's why a lot of people fled. I mean, I'm not going to say fled. That's why a lot of people converted to Christianity, because the mystery systems had been co-opted, and the mystery systems basically became more of a status symbol. Yeah, a status symbol. So the common people were like, that's not for me.
Right.
You know, that's not for me.
Right.
So that's how the floodgates of Christianity came to about. But it's not the Christian. When I'm talking about Christianity, I'm not talking about the Christianity that we have today. You know, that believes in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. That came much later. You know, much later. You know, and Christos, that's just a title anyway. That just means anointed.
Right.
It's nothing. That's all that it means. Like I said, know the history of what it is that you're saying, and that it is that is governing your life.
It might make sense to know the thing that you're supposed to be following blindly.
following. So when we start talking about the Bible, we're talking about knowing the history of the Bible. We know that Christianity came in 325 AD, Constantine. Then before that, they had with the bishops in 189 AD. So it's a framework how Christianity was actually laid out. But all that they did was take from our ancestors, took old scrolls and piecemealed them together and came up with their story, their version. Basically, it's talking about how they came about. And when you start really going into the Bible, you'll start to see, man, the Bible is anti-African. Because everybody who in there getting slaved and slewed is Africans in there, So it's basically the coming on of a new way of thinking.
Sounds like a justification.
Yeah, there we go. A new way of thinking. They wanted to do away with the old world. With the old world. And like I said, when you talk about the Bible, you have almost 1,500 different versions of the Bible. 1,500 of the versions of the Word of God. Now, one thing that I always questioned when I was young was, okay, I didn't know that it was actually 1,500, different versions of it. I just knew it was a lot of different Bibles, right? And when I would put them by each other, comparative, I'm like, this ain't saying what this one's saying, but this right here is supposed to be the Word of God. And we always say that God don't make no mistakes. So when I see a Bible and I see revision, what does revision mean?
Right. You
add some change. So you're saying that you know more than God. You're saying that
wasn't complete what God did.
Right. That wasn't complete with him.
Right.
You know more than him. Oh, God, let me help you here because you forgot to say this. That doesn't make any sense. But when you've been conditioned to just believe, and just to believe, not without knowing.
Without questioning.
It's a difference between believing and knowing.
Yes. And you, on that note, you had said something that, wait a minute, I'm saying, okay, everybody's talking about these different gods, but they're all talking about the same devil.
The same devil. They talk about, different gods, but they have it's the same devil. And you're like, okay, well, the devil's come along and he's the reason why people are suffering and doing all that. Why you just don't destroy him? Why you create him? If you're going to have displeasure with him, because you're the all-knowing God, you're supposed to know what he was going to do before he even did it. So, like I say, it's just, if you don't have a true understanding of history, you'll definitely get lost. I compare it to like the genie in the bottle, that Bible is the bottle and you the genie. You'll get in there and you'll get trapped because you're just looking at things on a superficial level. You're not thinking about the esoteric meanings and the different coded meanings behind what it is that you're reading. Because when you're in school, for example, going to Sunday school, your lessons are picked for you. You're not going everywhere through that Bible. It's picked for you. Okay, we're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about this, and we're going to talk about that.
And go find a book that'll tie this together, then go find another one that ties this
tie all those things together for them. And like I said, when you talk about things predating other things, like I said, if we were to take those tablets, take the 42 Bible Confessions of Maya, hold them up against the 10 Commandments, you're going to see it. You're going to see the stark contrast in regards to, you're going to be like, oh my God, somebody had to be the source, the primary source, and somebody had to copy. That's just like if you turn a paper into school. We turn a certain paper in, teach like, oh, these are some good papers. But somebody's the source. I only got 1 A to give. Somebody was the source and somebody copied, and that's what they do. They usurped our history. But when you don't know your history and when you expect the people who will lose the most by you knowing your history and you think they're going to teach you your history, you got another thing coming. You know, you really have another thing coming. I mean,
because that will empower you.
it would empower you. Self-preservation is the first law of nature, you know, and we don't use that in the sense of everything else is important to us except for us.
Even to the point where we're not anything. We have to depend on something because we're nothing. This gets to me, and I'll bring it up a lot. I've been taught that I'm nothing. Mm-hmm. I've been taught that I'm a filthy rag. Mm-hmm. I've been taught that I'm condemned and that I was born of sin. Oh, yeah. And man, when you get to really thinking about all this stuff, it's like, well, wait a minute. Here was my question. Mm-hmm. If I'm from the source, even how you say I'm created in his image. So he created nothing?
Right.
That just never sat right with me.
Right.
You know, just on a logical level, not even a spiritual level. Just wait a minute. Something perfect made something so bad.
Right.
That just never made sense to me.
That because that's man's understanding. You know, that's man's understanding. You could not, like with our ancestors, they believe that, they worship all these different gods, you know, because they'll see Isis and these different statues and different stuff like that. No, they was the personification of that person. That person had different characteristics.
That name had principles locked into it. So when they go and change that name, not only are they hiding that from you, that what you used to worship, but they're also taking away the principle of it.
Exactly. Because once again, we don't study. We don't study. You will not change your condition if you don't know who you are. You will not change your condition if you don't have a sound base.
There's a reason they're hiding who you are.
Oh, definitely. Because of the simple fact, because when you find out who you are, their reign is over.
There it is.
It's over. Game over. Checkmate. But as long as I can keep you worried about this and that and
separated, division,
and
racism, world hunger, all the isms, any distraction.
Yes. Any distraction. So once we get you distracted, and once they get you distracted and fill your time with, foolishness and pleasure, these different pleasures and everything, they got you because you're not spending no time on developing your soul truly. Everything is ritualistic.
Right.
It's a ritual. I got to do this. Even when a lot of times when people talk about meditating, it's like, bro, just close your eyes. Close your eyes. Think whatever you're going to think. You don't have to light no incense. You don't have to pull out no rug. You don't have to spray around some oil and all this old type of stuff. Bro, those are rituals. Just go inside. Close your eyes.
And go inside
yourself. Take a deep breath, let it out, and go inside yourself. And learn to go inside yourself because that's where it starts at.
And you'll be away from the distractions.
Go. Know thyself.
Know thyself.
That's the foundation of anything. Know thyself. And what I say about know thyself, know yourself spiritually. Know yourself. You can't worry about, well, if I start questioning stuff, how these people gonna look at me?
Right.
I might, lose my job.
Right.
I might do this. I might do this. I might do that.
That takes me to, I'm very curious about, okay, you've got this principle. Now you're walking in it. You're studying it. You're getting stronger in it. You're applying it within this family that's indoctrinated.
Right.
Man, tell me a little bit about the conflict of you coming and saying, hey, y'all, here's what's happening.
Right. Yeah, man, I have so many stories to choose from on that, man. First we're going to start with my name when I changed my name.
Okay.
Let's start right there. Once I decided to change my name, and I'm going to be quite honest with you, it wasn't a hard journey for me because the person who I loved and respected the most was my mother, and she supported me. So if mama say it's all good, I ain't trying to hear nothing you're talking about.
Support is big.
Right, at all. My mom, she said, whatever's going to make you a better man.
There you go.
That's what I'm for. And so when other people were
So
saying,
you must have seen some kind of changes in
oh,
yourself.
definitely. Oh, yeah, definitely, bro. Yeah, definitely. I was what you would call extra crispy hard head growing up.
Right. Need a brick.
Right.
Cinder block.
Yeah. You couldn't. Yeah, boy, you couldn't tell me anything. Stubborn. I'ma do it. You just because you can't do it, that don't mean I can't do it. And I'ma come and I'ma try. But so my mom recognized that in me, man. She never let people discourage me in regards to my walk.
Right.
When I said, Mom, I don't want to eat no more pork or anything like that, she was like, okay then. So she would cook a separate meals.
Well, that's love, man. That's my love.
And people like, oh, you cooking, he don't want to eat that.
So that's all you need, huh?
That's all I need.
Mama with you, it's on.
Yeah, support system. That's all you need is support. Support. Mama, daddy, anybody. Support. Because a lot of times when you're trying to change, people around you, they won't let you change.
And it's funny, I've heard that before, man, because if you change, then there's nothing else, no relationship with them now. They can't deal with the new you, so they want you to stay the same so they can deal with you.
There we go. So once again, like we were talking about, now we're talking about vibrations.
There you go.
We're talking about vibrations. That's why when you feel that person's energy, because that's how we feel each other. It's those vibrations. When you walk into a room, you feel, I feel calm, I feel relaxed.
Right.
Compared to, man, I ain't finna stick around here, bro. I'm finna move around.
Yeah, man. Vibration.
Yeah, I'm finna move around.
Okay. So with vibration, I'm big on that right now because, like I said, I'm in transition. I'm learning. And when I say transition, people are like, what? You don't believe in God no more? Right. You don't believe in Jesus? No. I'm just in transition of learning the truth.
There we go.
And upping my vibration. Because this is the age of Aquarius, right?
There we go.
So with that being said, let's work together in the future.
Oh, definitely.
And we're going to get some things together so that we can simply tell the truth. We're not trying to convert anybody.
No.
This is not a crusade.
Right.
This is simply talking and learning the truth.
Right.
Because learning the truth, as you said, is going to show you your value.
So your value, like I said, when you're trying to reach folks and a person's religion, that's what they hold on to when things are bad for them. When them storms come, that's what they hold on to. So if you attacking, you just turning them off.
Right.
You just got to teach them. Right. Hey, let's check this out. Here, check this out. But at the same time, you got to be walking in that light as well.
Because showing is what more powerful than telling.
Yes, and I'm from the Show Me State.
Mustard.
Yeah, I'm from the Show Me State. So yeah, I don't want to just see people lips moving, and there's no action behind it, or you living in contradiction to what you saying or whatnot. And to do that, man, that's a hell of a burden on your soul.
Man, that seems like a terrible conflict to have all that knowledge and then have applied it, but then also go back and go against the grain of what you've learned. If you believe if you believe in putting things in the universe and they come back, and then you go back and go put some bad stuff in the universe, that's going to look crazy.
Yeah, and it's going to come back to you 10 times, tenfold, because you know better.
My whole point.
Yeah, you know better. It's different degrees that you go through. You know better. You shouldn't have been doing that.
Right.
So like I say, man, the best thing to do is to go inside, stay humble, and remember anytime that you're dealing with the human element, anything is possible. So with that, when somebody's doing something that's bothering you and let them run with it. Let them run with it, because what you're doing is you're vibrating high, they vibrating low, you going down into the valley.
Yes, sir.
Instead of keeping your shirt clean and nice and everything, now you down in the gutter wrestling with them.
Pigs love the mud.
Right. There we go. And when you get through wrestling with them, guess what?
They happy in it. And
they happy. They ain't even going to, they not even going to remember what you talked about.
And it's going to affect you the rest of your life.
Yep.
That's powerful.
Yeah. So, like I said, bro, I'm just on a steady journey in regards to working on myself, being the best me, being able to look myself in the mirror, you know, and say, hey, I like what I see.
We're going to bring you back because I know you got a lot to say.
Yes, sir.
So before I let you get out of here, I want you to tell the people, because there's a lot of people, man, there's an awakening. You know, there's the age of the Aquarius. There's a lot of people that feel something is wrong and they want to find out what it is. And I feel like you could point them in some right directions. Because we talked off camera about you having books.
Yes.
And so we're going to bring you back again for another episode so we can lock that in.
Oh, definitely.
But before I let you go, tell the people, how can they reach you?
I can be reached at my email address is KAMAUPEN@yahoo.com.
Got it. And so I appreciate you being here today, man, because you have, just for myself, gave me some revelations on some things that have already been revealed to me. And so you've given me some confirmations.
Correct.
You know, and again, like I tell the people, I'm learning as well. And Jesus Christ is who he is. He's just not who the historians said he was.
Right.
And so we're going to remember that, because a lot of people are afraid to go learn the truth because they didn't want to be wrong.
Right.
You know, I had that same feeling. You know, we're not saying that the Bible is we're not demonizing the Bible. No. We're not saying it's something that you shouldn't read and all that.
No.
We're just saying that there was a purpose for some of the stuff that was put into it.
Exactly.
My man.
All right.
Appreciate you, brother.
Look forward to coming back, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we thank y'all for tuning in. And so we'll see you next time with part 2 with my man, Amen Ra Kamau.
Thank you.
So make sure, if you appreciated anything in this episode, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Keith, why digging too deep? Well, I'm glad you asked. Digging too deep is simply a service to empower. So if I can prevent someone from experiencing some pain or help someone in any given situation, that is what digging too deep is for.